The Heiress's Silent Revenge, Part 1, The Betrayal. The perfect life shattered. Arya Chen stood before the floor-to-ceiling mirror in her bedroom, adjusting the delicate diamond necklace around her neck. The morning sunlight streamed through the windows of her penthouse apartment, making the stones sparkle like tiny stars. Tomorrow was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. Tomorrow, she would marry Marcus Wellington, the man she had loved for 3 years. Her phone buzzed with a message from her best friend and business partner, Sophie. Last chance to run away. Just kidding. You and Marcus are perfect together. See you at the rehearsal dinner tonight. Arya smiled, her heart warming at the thought. She had built her jewelry design company from nothing, and now at 28, she was finally ready to share her success with someone special. Marcus had been there through everything, supporting her dreams, celebrating her victories. Or so she thought. She picked up her car keys, planning to surprise Marcus at his office with lunch. They had been so busy with wedding preparations that they barely had time alone together. Today, she wanted to remind him why they fell in love in the first place. The wedding that never was. The Wellington Industries building stood tall in the business district, all glass and steel reflecting the afternoon sun. Arya walked through the lobby with confidence, nodding at the security guard who knew her well. She took the private elevator to the executive floor, carrying a bag with Marcus's favorite meal from their special restaurant. The hallway was quiet, most employees at lunch. She approached Marcus's office, her hand reaching for the door handle when she heard voices inside. Laughter. A woman's voice she recognized instantly. Her stepsister, Claire. We need to be more careful, Claire's voice purred. The wedding is tomorrow. I know, baby, Marcus replied, his voice heavy with desire. But after tomorrow, we will have everything. Her company, her money, her trust fund. Then we can be together openly. Arya's hand froze on the handle. Her heart stopped beating for a moment, the world tilting beneath her feet. What about the accident plan? Claire asked. Are you sure it will work? The brakes on her car have already been adjusted, Marcus said coldly. After the honeymoon, when she drives up that mountain road to visit her mother's grave, the brakes will fail. It will look like an accident. No one will suspect anything. And her company shares? Already prepared the documents. Once we are married, I will have joint ownership. After the accident, everything transfers to me as her widower. Then I will merge it with your father's company, and we split everything 50-50. Claire laughed, a sound that made Arya's blood run cold. I cannot believe she trusted you. Stupid little Arya, always so naive. She actually thought someone like you could love her. Father and mother will be so proud when we pull this off. Arya's hands trembled, the lunch bag slipping from her fingers and hitting the floor with a soft thud. The voices inside stopped immediately. The door flew open, and Marcus stood there, his face going pale when he saw her. Behind him, Claire appeared, her expression quickly shifting from shock to something calculating. Arya, Marcus said, his voice suddenly smooth, practiced. This is not what it sounds like. Not what it sounds like? Arya's voice came out steady, stronger than she felt. You just planned my murder. Both of you. The family's true colors. Claire stepped forward, her perfectly manicured hand reaching out. Oh, Arya, always so dramatic. We were just joking around, rehearsing lines for a movie Marcus is investing in. Do not lie to me, Arya said, stepping back. I heard everything. The car, the brakes, stealing my company. Marcus's expression changed then, the mask of the loving fiancé dropping away to reveal something cold and cruel underneath. So you know. Well, it does not matter now. Who will believe you? Your father already thinks you are unstable. Your stepmother has been saying for years that you inherited your mother's mental problems. Arya felt her world crumbling. My father would never. Your father signed the documents transferring your mother's shares to him last month, Claire interrupted, examining her nails casually. He knows everything, Arya. Why do you think he was so happy about this wedding? Marcus gets your company, father gets control of your mother's estate, and I get Marcus. Everyone wins. Except me, Arya whispered. Except you, Claire agreed with a cruel smile. But do not worry, big sister. Your death will be very quick and painless. Probably. Arya's mind raced. She needed to get out, needed to think, needed to survive. I will go to the police. Marcus laughed. And tell them what? That you overheard a conversation? We will just deny everything. Besides, your father is golfing with the police chief right now. Who do you think they will believe? The respected businessman's daughter who has been acting strange lately, or us? Arya turned and ran. She heard them calling after her, but she did not stop. She took the stairs instead of the elevator, her heels clicking frantically on the concrete steps. She had to get somewhere safe, somewhere she could think. The accident. Arya's hands shook as she got into her car. Her mind was spinning with everything she had heard. Her father was part of this. Her own father wanted her dead for money. And Marcus, the man she thought loved her, was planning to murder her. She started the engine, pulling out of the parking garage without a clear destination in mind. She just needed to drive, needed to put distance between herself and those monsters wearing human faces. Her phone rang. Her father's name appeared on the screen. With trembling fingers, she answered. Arya, her father's voice was cold, businesslike. Marcus called me. He said you had some kind of breakdown at his office. Where are you? I know everything, Arya said, her voice breaking. How could you? I am your daughter. Mom loved you. Your mother was weak, he said dismissively. Just like you. But do not worry, this will all be over soon. Come home so we can talk about this properly. So you can kill me? Arya's voice rose. I heard everything, father. The plan to sabotage my car, to steal my company. How long have you been planning this? Silence on the other end. Then, her father's voice turned threatening. You will come home now, Arya. Do not make this harder than it needs to be. She ended the call, her hands gripping the steering wheel so hard her knuckles turned white. She was driving without thinking, taking turns randomly, just trying to get away. Rain started falling, light at first, then heavier, making the road slick. Her phone rang again and again. Marcus, Claire, her father, her stepmother. They were all in on it. Everyone she trusted had betrayed her. Through her tears and the rain, Arya did not see the truck until it was too late. It came from a side street, running a red light, heading straight for her. She tried to brake, but her car did not respond. Marcus's words echoed in her mind, the brakes on her car have already been adjusted. They had already sabotaged her car. This was supposed to happen after the wedding, but they must have done it earlier. The truck crashed into her side, and Arya's world exploded in pain and darkness. Unexpected savior. Arya woke to the sound of machines beeping and the smell of antiseptic. Everything hurt. Her head pounded, her ribs ached, and her left arm was in a cast. Slowly, she opened her eyes to find herself in a hospital room, but not a regular one. This was private, expensive, with soft lighting and comfortable furniture. You are awake, a deep male voice said. Arya turned her head carefully to see a man sitting in the chair beside her bed. He was probably in his early 30s, with dark hair, sharp features, and eyes that were almost black. He wore an expensive suit and had an air of power around him that was impossible to ignore. Who are you? Arya's voice came out rough and dry. My name is Damien Cross, he said, handing her a glass of water. I was driving behind you when the accident happened. I called the ambulance and had you brought to my private hospital. Why? Arya asked, her mind still fuzzy from pain medication. Damien leaned back in his chair, studying her with those intense dark eyes. Because the truck that hit you did not stop. It kept driving. That is not an accident, Miss Chen. That is attempted murder. Arya's heart raced. You know who I am. I make it my business to know important things, Damien said. I also know about your engagement to Marcus Wellington, about your jewelry company, and about your father's recent business dealings. He paused, his expression darkening. And I know that someone tried to kill you today. Tears filled Arya's eyes. They all wanted me dead. My father, my fiancé, my stepsister. For money. I know, Damien said softly. And I am sorry. But crying will not help you now. Anger will. Arya looked at him through her tears. What do you mean? Damien stood up, walking to the window. Your family thinks you are dead, Miss Chen. The hospital reported to the police that you died from your injuries. Your family is already planning your funeral, already moving to take control of your assets. What? Arya tried to sit up, gasping at the pain. Stay still, Damien ordered, returning to her side. You have broken ribs and a concussion. But listen carefully. I am giving you a chance. A chance to disappear, to become someone new, and to take revenge on everyone who betrayed you. Why would you help me? Arya asked, suspicious despite her situation. Damien smiled, but it did not reach his eyes. Because I have my own reasons to want your family destroyed. Your father cost me something very precious 5 years ago. This is my chance to make him pay, and you are the perfect weapon. The proposal. Over the next hour, Damien explained everything. 5 years ago, his younger sister had been engaged to a man from a good family. But Arya's father had destroyed that man's company through illegal business dealings, causing the man to commit suicide. Damien's sister, heartbroken, had tried to take her own life and now lived in a care facility, her mind broken by grief. Your father destroyed my family, Damien said, his voice hard. And he has done it to countless others. He hides behind his respectable image while crushing anyone who stands in his way. Arya listened, her own pain mixing with sympathy for this stranger who had saved her life. What do you want from me? I want to propose a deal, Damien said. You marry me. Not for love, but for revenge. I will give you everything you need to transform yourself, to become someone new. We will return to society together, and slowly, carefully, we will destroy everyone who betrayed you. Why marriage? Arya asked. Because it gives us legal protection and social standing, Damien explained. As my wife, you will have access to my resources, my connections, my power. And I will have the perfect cover for getting close to your father's business. Arya looked at her hands, her mind racing. Everything she had known was a lie. Everyone she loved had betrayed her. She had nothing left to lose. What happens after? She asked quietly. After we destroy them? After, you will be free to live whatever life you choose, Damien said. You can rebuild your company, start fresh with a new identity, disappear if you want. I only ask for your help in taking down your father and everyone who hurt us both. Arya closed her eyes, thinking of Marcus's cold voice planning her murder, Claire's cruel laughter, her father's dismissal of her mother's memory. Rage burned through her grief, hot and cleansing. I want them to suffer, she said, opening her eyes to meet Damien's gaze. I want them to lose everything, the way they tried to make me lose everything. Then we have a deal? Damien extended his hand. Arya looked at that hand, knowing that taking it would change her life forever. But her old life was already gone, destroyed by the people who were supposed to love her. This was her chance to rise from the ashes, to become something stronger, something they would never see coming. She placed her hand in his. We have a deal. New identity begins. Over the next 3 months, Arya Chen ceased to exist. She stayed hidden in Damien's private estate, recovering from her injuries and planning her transformation. The world believed she was dead, buried in a closed casket funeral that her family had staged with tears and false grief. Your father cried at your funeral, Damien told her one day, showing her news footage on his tablet. Very convincing performance. Arya watched her father standing beside her empty casket, Marcus holding Claire's hand in the background while pretending to mourn. Her stepmother dabbed at dry eyes with a handkerchief. All of them playing their parts perfectly. They are already moving on your company assets, Damien continued. Marcus has filed papers to merge your business with your father's holdings, claiming he has the right as your bereaved fiancé. Let them, Arya said coldly. They think they have won. That will make their fall even harder. She spent her days working with Damien's team of experts. A personal trainer helped her build strength and grace. A stylist transformed her appearance, cutting her long hair into a sophisticated short style and teaching her a whole new way to dress and move. A voice coach helped her adjust her accent slightly, making her sound more international, more polished. But the most important teacher was Damien himself. He taught her about business warfare, about reading people, about playing the long game. They spent hours talking about strategy, about her family's weaknesses, about how to strike where it would hurt most. Revenge is not about anger, Damien explained one evening as they sat in his study. Anger makes you sloppy. Revenge is cold, calculated, patient. You wait for the perfect moment, and then you strike without mercy. Is that what this is for you? Arya asked. Cold calculation? Damien looked at her, something flickering in his dark eyes. It started that way. But you are not what I expected, Arya Chen. What did you expect? A broken girl who needed saving, he admitted. Instead, I found a woman who just needed the right weapons to fight back. 3 weeks before their planned return to society, Damien and Arya were married in a private ceremony with only his lawyer and housekeeper as witnesses. It was nothing like the wedding Arya had once dreamed of. No flowers, no music, no love. Just two people binding themselves together with a common purpose. But as Damien slipped the simple platinum band on her finger, Arya felt something shift inside her. This was not the ending of her story. This was the beginning of something new, something powerful. Ready to become Ariel Cross? Damien asked, using her new name. Arya looked at her reflection in the study window. The woman looking back was different from the naive girl who had been betrayed 3 months ago. This woman had harder eyes, a stronger spine, a hunger for justice that burned like fire. I am ready, she said. Let us show them what a dead woman can do. As they prepared for their return to society, Arya spent her nights planning her revenge in careful detail. She would not just destroy her family financially. She would destroy their reputations, their relationships, their futures. She would make them feel every bit of pain they had caused her and more. Marcus would lose his business, his respect, his precious Claire. Claire would lose her beauty, her status, her dreams of wealth. Her father would lose his company, his reputation, his freedom. And her stepmother would lose the comfortable life she had schemed so hard to build. They all thought Arya Chen was dead and buried. They had no idea that from her grave, a phoenix was rising, ready to burn their world to ashes. The game was about to begin, and this time Arya was playing to win. End of part 1. To be continued in part 2, The Transformation. The Heiress's Silent Revenge, Part 2, The Transformation. Rising from Ashes. 6 months after the world thought Arya Chen had died, a new woman emerged from Damien Cross's private estate. Ariel Cross stood in front of the mirror, barely recognizing herself. Her once long, gentle waves had been cut into a sleek, sharp bob that framed her face with confidence. Her style had changed from soft and romantic to powerful and elegant. She wore a black designer dress that spoke of wealth and authority. You look perfect, Damien said from the doorway, his eyes showing approval. No one will connect you to Arya Chen. That is the point, Ariel replied, her voice now carrying a slight international accent that made her sound worldly and sophisticated. She touched the diamond earrings Damien had given her. When do we make our entrance? Tonight, Damien said, walking into the room. The charity gala at the Grand Hotel. Everyone who matters will be there, including your family. Ariel's heart raced, but her face remained calm. She had practiced this moment 1,000 times in her mind. Are you sure they will not recognize me? Damien stood behind her, both of them looking at their reflection. Look at yourself, Ariel. You are not the same person. You carry yourself differently. You speak differently. Even your eyes had changed. That innocent girl is gone. He was right. The woman in the mirror had cold determination in her eyes, a sharp edge to her smile. Where Arya had been soft and trusting, Ariel was hard and calculating. Remember the plan, Damien continued. We are international investors looking to expand in the city. We show interest in various companies, including your father's. We plant seeds of doubt, create small problems, and watch them scramble. And Marcus? Ariel asked, her voice steady despite the anger burning inside her. Marcus will come to us, Damien said with a knowing smile. Men like him always do when they smell money and opportunity. Ariel turned to face him. Over the past 6 months, she had learned so much from Damien. He was not just helping her for revenge. She had come to see his intelligence, his careful planning, his surprising moments of kindness when he thought no one was watching. Their fake marriage had become a strange partnership built on mutual respect. Thank you, she said quietly. For all of this. For giving me a second chance. Damien's expression softened slightly. Thank me after we destroy them. Come, our car is waiting. The return. The Grand Hotel ballroom glittered with wealth and power. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling, casting rainbow light across the crowd of elegantly dressed guests. Waiters moved through the room with trays of champagne and expensive hors d'oeuvres. This was where the city's elite gathered to see and be seen, to make deals and break rivals. When Damien and Ariel entered, conversations paused. Heads turned. Damien Cross was already known in business circles as a mysterious billionaire who had made his fortune in technology and investments. But his new wife was a complete mystery. Who is she? Ariel heard someone whisper. I heard she is European royalty, another voice said. No, she is an heiress from Asia. Ariel smiled to herself. Let them wonder. Mystery was power. Damien kept his hand on the small of her back as they moved through the crowd, his touch both protective and possessive. They made a striking couple, and they knew it. Mr. Cross. A voice called out. Ariel turned to see her father approaching, her stepmother beside him. Her heart pounded, but her face showed only polite interest. Mr. Chen, Damien said smoothly, shaking her father's hand. What a pleasure. I have heard many things about your company. All good things, I hope, her father said with his politician's smile. His eyes moved to Ariel, showing curiosity but no recognition. And who is this lovely lady? My wife, Ariel, Damien said. Darling, this is Richard Chen, owner of Chen Industries. Ariel extended her hand gracefully. Enchanted, Mr. Chen. I have heard Damien speak of your business reputation. Her father kissed her hand, and it took everything in Ariel not to pull away in disgust. This man had planned her murder. This man had betrayed her mother's memory. And he had no idea he was shaking hands with his dead daughter. The pleasure is mine, her father said. Are you interested in business, Mrs. Cross? Very much so, Ariel replied with a mysterious smile. I find the American business world fascinating. So much opportunity for those who know where to look. Her stepmother, Victoria, stepped forward. You must tell me where you got that dress. It is absolutely stunning. Paris, Ariel said smoothly. I have a personal relationship with several designers. As they made small talk, Ariel studied her stepmother's face. Victoria had been part of the plan to kill her. This woman who had pretended to care, who had called her daughter while plotting her death. Rage burned cold in Ariel's chest, but she kept smiling. There you are. Another voice interrupted. Ariel turned to see Marcus approaching with Claire on his arm. Her ex-fiancé and her traitorous stepsister, now apparently a couple in public. Time seemed to slow. This was the moment Ariel had been preparing for. First encounter. Marcus looked the same, handsome in his expensive suit, his smile confident and charming. Claire wore a red dress that was slightly too revealing for the occasion, her makeup perfect, her expression smug. They were the picture of a successful young couple. Marcus, Claire, her father said. Come meet Mr. Damien Cross and his wife. Marcus extended his hand to Damien first, his businessman smile in place. Mr. Cross, I have heard a lot about you. Marcus Wellington, Wellington Industries. Ah yes, Damien said, shaking his hand briefly. The company that recently absorbed Chin Jewelry Designs. Something flickered in Marcus's eyes. Yes, though it was a tragic circumstance. My late fiancé's company. She died in a car accident 6 months ago. How terrible, Ariel said, her voice dripping with false sympathy. You must have loved her very much. Marcus turned to look at her fully for the first time, and Ariel saw his eyes widen slightly. For a second, just a second, something like recognition passed across his face. But then it was gone, replaced by his usual charm. I did, he said, though his eyes were still studying Ariel's face. She was very special. Special enough to marry her stepsister 3 months after her death? Ariel asked innocently. The group fell silent. Claire's face flushed red. We found comfort in each other during our grief. Is that so wrong? Not at all, Ariel said with a sweet smile. Love works in mysterious ways. Though some might say 3 months is quite fast. Mrs. Cross, her father said, his voice holding a warning. Perhaps we should change the subject. Of course, Ariel said smoothly. Forgive me. I simply find human relationships fascinating. In my experience, people often reveal their true nature during times of loss. Marcus was still staring at her, his eyes narrowed. Have we met before, Mrs. Cross? You seem familiar. I do not believe so, Ariel said, meeting his gaze directly. I would certainly remember meeting someone who lost his fiancée in such a tragic accident. Tell me, Mr. Wellington, was there ever any investigation into what caused the accident? Marcus's face went pale. It was ruled an accident. Brake failure. How unfortunate, Ariel said softly. Brake failures can be so unpredictable. Unless, of course, someone tampers with them. The tension in the group was thick enough to cut. Damien stepped in smoothly. My wife takes an interest in legal cases. She studied law before we married. How interesting, Claire said, her voice sharp. She had been quiet, but now she spoke up. You know, you look a little bit like someone I used to know. Same bone structure. Really? Ariel tilted her head. Who? My stepsister, Claire said, watching Ariel's reaction carefully. The one who died. Arya Chen. Ariel laughed, a light, dismissive sound. I assure you, Miss Chen, I am very much alive. Though I am sorry for your loss. It is Mrs. Wellington now, Claire corrected, holding up her hand to show off her engagement ring. Marcus and I are getting married next month. Congratulations, Ariel said. I hope your marriage lasts longer than his first engagement. Before anyone could respond, Ariel turned to Damien. Darling, did you not say you wanted to speak with Mr. Chen about a potential investment? Yes, Damien said, understanding immediately. Mr. Chen, might we schedule a meeting? I am interested in discussing a partnership. Her father's eyes lit up with greed. Of course. I would be honored. Shall we say Monday morning? Perfect, Damien said. He turned to Marcus. Mr. Wellington, you should join us. Since you now control Chin Jewelry Designs, I would like to hear your vision for the company. Marcus tried to hide his surprise. I would be happy to attend. Wonderful, Ariel said. This is going to be very interesting. As Damien and Ariel walked away, she heard Claire whisper urgently to Marcus. Did you see the way she looked at us? Something is wrong. You are being paranoid, Marcus replied, but his voice sounded uncertain. Ariel smiled to herself. The seeds of doubt had been planted. Now they just needed to water them and watch them grow. Business warfare begins. The Monday morning meeting took place in Damien's impressive downtown office. The conference room had floor-to-ceiling windows with a view of the entire city. Her father and Marcus arrived looking eager and confident. Thank you for meeting with us, her father said, settling into his chair. I am very interested in hearing your proposal. Actually, Damien said, my wife will be leading this meeting. Ariel handles all of our investment decisions. Both men looked surprised. Ariel savored their shock as she stood at the head of the table, pulling up a presentation on the large screen. Gentlemen, she began, I have spent the past week studying your companies very carefully. And I have found some interesting things. She clicked to the first slide, showing financial reports from Chen Industries. Mr. Chen, your company appears profitable on the surface. But when I dig deeper, I see concerning patterns. Money disappearing into shell companies. Deals that look legitimate but involve insider trading. Would you care to explain? Her father's face went red. Those are private company matters. How did you get that information? I have my sources, Ariel said calmly. The question is, why would I invest in a company that appears to be breaking multiple financial laws? Now wait a minute, her father stood up, angry. Those accusations are baseless. Are they? Ariel clicked to another slide. This is a record of a deal you made 5 years ago. You destroyed a company called Morrison Tech through illegal stock manipulation. The owner committed suicide. His family was destroyed. Damien stood up beside her. That man was going to be my brother-in-law. You killed him, Mr. Chen. Her father's face went white. I do not know what you are talking about. Yes, you do, Ariel said coldly. Just like you know about the other companies you have destroyed. The families you have ruined. All for money. Marcus had been quiet, but now he spoke up. What is this really about? You did not bring us here to discuss an investment. How clever of you, Ariel said. You are right. I brought you here to give you a warning. Your business practices are going to be exposed. The authorities will be receiving anonymous tips about your illegal activities. Both of you. You cannot prove anything, her father said, but his voice shook. I can prove everything, Ariel said. She pulled out a thick folder and dropped it on the table. This contains copies of every illegal deal you have made in the past 10 years. Every bribe. Every manipulation. Every law you broke. And I have already sent copies to several journalists and the Financial Crimes Division. Marcus grabbed the folder, flipping through it frantically. This will destroy us. Yes, Ariel said simply. That is the point. Her father stared at her, something like recognition dawning in his eyes. Who are you really? Someone who knows what you did, Ariel said. Someone who knows you killed your daughter for money. Someone who is going to make you pay. Arya? Her father whispered, his face going gray. No, that is impossible. You died. Did I? Ariel smiled coldly. Or did I simply rise from the ashes stronger than before? Marcus stumbled backward, his face showing pure horror. We saw the body. The funeral. You saw what I wanted you to see, Ariel said. A closed casket. A death certificate that Damien arranged. You never actually saw me dead because I never died. Your plan failed. Claire burst into the room suddenly, having heard the raised voices. She stopped dead when she saw Ariel standing there, confidence and power radiating from her. Hello, Claire, Ariel said softly. Surprised to see me? Claire's face drained of all color. This is impossible. Nothing is impossible with the right resources, Ariel said. Did you really think you could kill me and get away with it? All of you? Her stepmother, Victoria, appeared in the doorway, drawn by the commotion. When she saw Ariel, she gasped, gripping the doorframe for support. The whole family is here, Ariel said. Perfect. Now you can all hear what is going to happen next. Unexpected feelings. That night, after the confrontation, Ariel stood on the balcony of Damien's penthouse, staring out at the city lights. Her hands were still shaking from the adrenaline of finally revealing herself to her family. Their faces, the shock, the horror, the fear, it had been satisfying but also emotionally draining. You did well today, Damien said, joining her with 2 glasses of wine. Did I? Ariel took a glass, grateful for something to hold. I thought I would feel more victorious. Instead, I just feel tired. Revenge is exhausting, Damien said, leaning against the railing beside her. It takes everything from you. They stood in comfortable silence for a moment. Over the past 6 months, Ariel had come to know Damien in ways she never expected. Beneath his cold businessman exterior was someone who cared deeply about justice, who read poetry late at night, who checked on his sister every single day even though she barely recognized him anymore. Can I ask you something? Ariel said. Always. Do you ever regret helping me? This has consumed so much of your life. Damien turned to look at her, his dark eyes intense in the dim light. Never. Not for a single moment. Why? Ariel asked softly. I know you wanted revenge on my father, but there must have been easier ways. Because when I pulled you from that car, Damien said quietly, I saw something in your eyes. Even broken and bleeding, you had this fire inside you. This determination to survive. It reminded me of my sister before everything happened. I thought if I could help you, maybe it would balance out what I could not do for her. Ariel felt her heart squeeze. You saved my life, Damien. In more ways than one. And you gave me purpose again, Damien said. He reached out, gently tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. The gesture was intimate, tender. This started as a business arrangement, Ariel. But somewhere along the way, it became something more. Ariel's breath caught. She had been trying to ignore the growing feelings between them, telling herself it was just gratitude, just proximity. But standing here now, with Damien looking at her like she was precious, she could not deny it anymore. This was not part of the plan, she whispered. The best things never are, Damien said. He cupped her face in his hands. I know we said this was temporary. That after the revenge was complete, we would go our separate ways. But I do not want that anymore, Ariel. I want this to be real. What if I am still broken? Ariel asked, her voice trembling. What if underneath all this strength and anger, I am still that naive girl who trusted the wrong people? Then I will help you heal, Damien said. The way you helped me remember why I fight. We can be broken together and slowly become whole. Ariel closed her eyes, feeling tears she had been holding back for months finally fall. I am scared, Damien. Everyone I loved before betrayed me. What if? I am not them, Damien interrupted firmly. I see you, Ariel. Not your money, not your company, not what you can give me. Just you. And that is enough. That is everything. When he kissed her, it was nothing like the distant, formal kiss they had shared at their fake wedding. This was real, passionate, full of all the emotions they had been holding back. Ariel kissed him back, pouring 6 months of growing feelings into that moment. When they finally pulled apart, both breathing hard, Damien rested his forehead against hers. Tell me you feel it too. I do, Ariel admitted. I have for a while now. But I was too afraid to say it. Do not be afraid, Damien said. Not with me. Never with me. They stayed on the balcony for hours, talking about everything and nothing, making plans that had nothing to do with revenge and everything to do with building a real future together. But in the back of Ariel's mind, she knew the game was not over yet. Her family had been exposed, but they still had power, connections, resources. And desperate people did desperate things. Claire's desperation. The next morning, Ariel woke to her phone ringing constantly. News of her family's illegal activities had hit the media overnight. Financial crimes investigators had raided Shin Industries at dawn. Her father's assets were being frozen. Marcus's company was being investigated for fraud. "They are calling you a ghost," Damien said, showing her his tablet over breakfast. "The woman who rose from the dead to destroy her family." "Dramatic," Ariel said, but she was pleased. The media attention meant her family could not hide or cover this up. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Please, we need to talk. I can explain everything. Claire." "She wants to meet," Ariel showed the message to Damien. "It is a trap," Damien said immediately. "Do not go." "I know it is a trap," Ariel said. "But I want to hear what she has to say." They met in a small cafe that afternoon, public enough to be safe. Claire arrived looking terrible, her usual perfect appearance ruined by sleepless nights and tears. Her designer clothes could not hide how much weight she had lost, how haunted her eyes looked. "Thank you for coming," Claire said, sitting down across from Ariel. "What do you want?" Ariel asked coldly. "I want to apologize," Claire said, tears streaming down her face. "For everything. I was jealous of you, Aria. You had everything, Mom and Dad's love, your successful company, Marcus. I wanted what you had. So you tried to kill me?" Ariel's voice was flat. "It was not my idea," Claire said desperately. "Marcus came to me. He said it would be easy, that we would be rich, that no one would know. I was stupid and greedy and I am so sorry." "You were part of planning my murder," Ariel said. "You laughed about it." "I heard you." Claire sobbed. "I know. I was terrible. But please, Aria, you have to help me. Marcus is trying to pin everything on me. He is telling the police I was the one who tampered with your car, that he knew nothing about it." "And was he lying?" Ariel asked. "Yes." Claire cried. "He did everything. I just went along with it because I was in love with him. But he never loved me. He was just using me to get to you." Ariel studied her stepsister's face, looking for any sign of deception. "What do you want from me?" "Help me testify against him," Claire said. "I will tell everything to the police. About Marcus, about Dad, about all of it. Just please do not let me go to prison. I am sorry, Aria. I am so sorry." Ariel leaned back in her chair. Claire's desperation was real. And a desperate witness could be very useful. "I will think about it," Ariel said finally. "But understand this, Claire. You will pay for what you did. Maybe not with prison time, but you will pay. Your reputation, your lifestyle, your comfortable life, it is all gone. You will have to rebuild from nothing, the way I did." "I understand," Claire whispered. "I deserve it." As Ariel left the cafe, she felt strangely empty. She had wanted to see Claire suffer, and now she was. But it did not bring the satisfaction she had expected. Revenge was more complicated than she thought. The truth emerges. That evening, Damien was quiet during dinner. Ariel noticed him watching her with an expression she could not read. "What is wrong?" she asked. Damien set down his fork. "There is something I need to tell you. Something I should have told you months ago." Ariel's heart sank. "What?" "The accident," Damien said. "The truck that hit you. It was not random, and it was not your family." "What do you mean?" Ariel asked, confused. Damien took a deep breath. "I arranged it. The truck was supposed to hit your car at a specific angle, at a specific speed. Enough to look serious but not enough to actually kill you. I needed to fake your death convincingly, and I needed you to believe your family had tried to kill you. Ariel stood up slowly, her mind reeling. You staged the accident? Yes, Damien said. I had been watching your family for months, planning my revenge. When I saw Marcus tampering with your car that day, I realized this was my chance. I could save you and use you to destroy them. So I had my people follow you, and when the moment was right, I created the accident. You almost killed me, Ariel said, her voice shaking with anger. I was careful, Damien said. My driver was an expert. You were never in real danger from the truck itself. The injuries you had were from Marcus's brake sabotage, not from the collision. You should have told me, Ariel said. All this time, I thought I barely survived by luck. But it was all planned. I know, Damien said. And I am sorry. But Ariel, everything else was real. My feelings for you, my respect for you, the way I helped you transform and become strong. That was all real. Ariel walked to the window, trying to process this information. Part of her was furious that Damien had manipulated her from the very beginning. But another part understood why he did it. The truck driver, she said slowly. Was he the same one who ran over that pedestrian last year? The hit and run that was never solved? Damien went very still. How did you know about that? I did not, Ariel turned to face him. But I do now. You just confirmed it. You had that man killed because he witnessed something, did he not? Something related to your sister? Damien's face was carefully blank. Ariel. Tell me the truth, she demanded. All of it. No more secrets. Damien stood up, his expression pained. The man who died last year was one of your father's employees. He had evidence that could have saved my sister's fiancé, but your father paid him to stay quiet. After the suicide, I tracked down everyone involved. The driver was the last one. I had him eliminated. You are a murderer, Ariel whispered. Yes, Damien said simply. I am. I have done terrible things in pursuit of revenge. I am not a good man, Ariel. I never pretended to be. Ariel looked at this man she had fallen in love with, seeing him clearly for the first time. He was dangerous, calculating, capable of horrible things. But he had also been kind to her, patient, understanding. He had given her back her power when she had nothing. Why did you tell me this now? She asked. Because I love you, Damien said. And I could not build a real future with you based on lies. You deserve to know exactly who I am, what I am capable of. And then you can decide if you still want this. Ariel walked back to the table, sitting down heavily. Her mind was spinning with everything she had learned. Damien had manipulated her from the beginning, had staged her accident, had killed people. But her family had also tried to kill her for real. Everything was complicated, gray, messy. I need time, she said finally. To think about all of this. I understand, Damien said. Take all the time you need. As Ariel lay in bed that night, unable to sleep, she thought about who she had become. 6 months ago, she had been innocent, trusting, naive. Now she was calculating revenge against her family, partnered with a man who admitted to murder, living a life built on deception. Had her transformation made her stronger, or had it just made her more like the people who hurt her? She did not have an answer. But she knew one thing for certain, there was no going back to who she used to be. That girl was truly dead, and in her place was someone new. Someone harder, colder, more dangerous. The question was, did she like who she had become? End of part 2. To be continued in part 3, The Reckoning. The Heiress's Silent Revenge, Part 3, The Reckoning. The master plan unfolds. 3 days after Damien's confession, Ariel still had not given him an answer about their future. She spent her time planning the final moves of her revenge, working with lawyers and investigators to ensure every piece of evidence against her family was ironclad. Damien respected her space, but she could see the pain in his eyes every time they passed each other in the penthouse. The truth was, Ariel was not angry about what Damien had done. She was angry that she understood why he did it. She was angry that she might have done the same thing in his position. She was angry that revenge had changed both of them into people who could justify terrible actions. But mostly, she was angry that despite everything, she still loved him. "The district attorney wants to meet with you," Damien said one morning over coffee. They were being polite and distant with each other, like strangers sharing a space. "They are ready to move forward with charges against your father and Marcus." "What about Claire?" Ariel asked. "She has agreed to testify in exchange for immunity," Damien said. "Your stepsister will walk free while the men who used her go to prison." "Good," Ariel said. Despite everything, she could not hate Claire the way she hated Marcus and her father. Claire had been weak and stupid, but she had also been manipulated. "When is the meeting?" "Tomorrow morning," Damien said. "Ariel, I know you need time, but I want you to know that whatever you decide about us, I will still help you finish this. You will get your justice." Ariel looked at him across the breakfast table, this complicated man who had saved her and deceived her in equal measure. "I know," she said softly. "Thank you." That afternoon, Ariel received an unexpected visitor. Her father's lawyer requested an urgent meeting. She agreed to see him in a neutral location, a conference room in a downtown office building. Damien insisted on coming with her. The lawyer was an older man named Patterson, someone her father had worked with for decades. He looked tired and defeated as he sat across from them. "Mrs. Cross," Patterson began, "I am here on behalf of Richard Chen to discuss a settlement." "A settlement?" Ariel laughed coldly. "For attempted murder?" "Your father maintains that he had no direct involvement in any plan to harm you," Patterson said, though his tone suggested he did not believe his own words. "However, he recognizes that certain actions he took were unethical and possibly illegal. He is prepared to offer you a substantial sum in exchange for your agreement not to testify against him." "How much?" Damien asked, his voice hard. $50 million, Patterson said. "Plus full ownership of your mother's estate and the jewelry company that was taken from you." Ariel felt a surge of rage. "My father thinks he can buy his way out of trying to kill his own daughter." "He thinks he can avoid prison," Patterson said quietly. "Mrs. Cross, between you and me, your father is a broken man. The stress of the investigation has already given him one heart attack. If he goes to trial, the shame and pressure will kill him." "Good," Ariel said flatly. "Let him feel what it is like to be afraid, to be powerless, to face death because of someone else's greed." Patterson sighed. "I understand your anger. What he did was unforgivable. But consider this, if you take the settlement, you get everything you lost back, plus financial security for life. If you push for trial, it could take years, and there is always a chance he could be acquitted. Rich men often escape justice." "Not this time," Ariel said. "Tell my father that no amount of money will save him. He chose money over his daughter's life, and now he will pay the price." Patterson nodded slowly, gathering his papers. "I expected that answer. But I had to try." He paused at the door. "For what it is worth, Mrs. Cross, I am sorry for what happened to you. Your father was once a good man, before greed consumed him. I hope you find peace in whatever comes next." After he left, Ariel sat in silence, her hands trembling. Damien reached across the table and took her hand gently. "You made the right choice," he said. "Did I?" Ariel asked. $50 million, Damien. My company back. Everything I lost. Part of me wants to take it and walk away. But that is not justice, Damien said. That is just another form of them buying their way out of consequences. You deserve more than money, Ariel. You deserve the truth to be known, for everyone to see what they did. Ariel squeezed his hand, grateful for his support even as their relationship hung in uncertain balance. You are right. This was never just about money. It was about making sure they could never hurt anyone else the way they hurt me. Marcus's downfall. The trial began 2 months later. The courthouse was surrounded by media vans and reporters. The case had captured public attention, the daughter who rose from the dead to expose her family's crimes. It was sensational, dramatic, the kind of story that sold newspapers and generated millions of views online. Ariel sat in the front row of the courtroom, Damien beside her. She wore a simple gray suit, her appearance professional and composed. Across the aisle, Marcus sat with his lawyers, looking pale and desperate. Her father was being tried separately, his health issues causing delays, but Marcus was going first. Claire took the stand on the second day, her voice shaking as she described the conspiracy. Marcus approached me about 6 months before the planned wedding, she testified. He said he needed access to Aria's company and her trust fund. He told me if I helped him, we could be together and split everything. And what was your role? The prosecutor asked. I was supposed to keep Aria distracted, Claire said, tears streaming down her face. Make sure she did not suspect anything. Marcus was going to marry her, get control of her assets, and then cause an accident that would look natural. What kind of accident? The prosecutor pressed. Brake failure, Claire whispered. On the mountain road where her mother died. Marcus said it would look like tragic irony, that no one would question it. Marcus's lawyer objected repeatedly, but the damage was done. Claire had recordings, text messages, emails, all documenting the conspiracy. Marcus had been arrogant enough to leave a trail, confident he would never be caught. When Ariel took the stand, the courtroom fell silent. She described finding Marcus and Claire together, hearing them plan her murder, the terror of realizing her own father was involved. How did you feel when you learned that your fiancé and your family wanted you dead? The prosecutor asked. Ariel looked directly at Marcus as she answered. Betrayed. Heartbroken. Angry. But mostly, I felt determined. Determined to survive, to expose the truth, to make sure they could never hurt anyone else. And did you really die in that accident? The prosecutor asked. No, Ariel said. With help, I staged my death and spent months gathering evidence against everyone involved. I became someone new so I could come back and seek justice. Marcus's lawyer tried to paint Ariel as a vengeful woman who had fabricated evidence, but it did not work. The paper trail was too clear, the testimony too damning. After 3 weeks of trial, the jury took only 4 hours to reach a verdict. Guilty on all counts, the judge read. Conspiracy to commit murder, attempted murder, fraud, embezzlement. Marcus's face crumbled as the verdict was read. He looked at Ariel with something between hatred and desperation. This is your fault, he shouted as the bailiffs moved to restrain him. You were supposed to die. You were supposed to stay dead. But I did not, Ariel said calmly. And now you will spend the next 30 years in prison thinking about that. As they led Marcus away in handcuffs, Ariel felt a weight lift from her chest. 1 down, 1 to go. Family exposed. Her father's trial was even more dramatic. Despite his lawyer's attempts to delay, the judge ruled that Richard Chen was fit to stand trial. The courthouse was packed with former business partners, employees he had betrayed, families he had destroyed over the years. The prosecution laid out decades of illegal activity. Insider trading, bribery, fraud, extortion. Her father had built his empire on the ruins of other people's lives. And at the center of it all was the conspiracy to murder his own daughter. Mr. Chen, you tampered with your daughter's vehicle, knowing it would cause her death, the prosecutor said during opening statements. Why? Because she stood to inherit her mother's estate, which you wanted to control. Because her company was worth millions. Because your greed was more important than your child's life. Her father's lawyer argued that he had been coerced by Marcus, that he had not actually done any of the physical sabotage himself. But the evidence told a different story. Bank records showed he had paid mechanics to tamper with Ariel's car. Phone records proved he knew about the plan weeks in advance. Witnesses testified that he had joked about his daughter's upcoming accident. Victoria, her stepmother, turned witness for the prosecution in exchange for reduced charges. She testified that Richard had married her specifically to get access to Ariel's mother's estate, that the whole marriage had been a calculated business move. He told me Aria was weak, like her mother, Victoria said on the stand. He said she would never be strong enough to run the company, that it would be better if she just disappeared. I went along with it because I was afraid of him, but also because I wanted the money. I am ashamed of what I became. When Ariel testified against her father, the courtroom was completely silent. She described growing up believing she was loved, only to discover it was all performance. She described her mother's death and her suspicion that it had not been an accident either.